Good morning, welcome to another video. It is the penultimate day of the river season, so I've had to come out. I've had to come out despite the rivers being relatively high. The Avon is in the fields again. The Stow, which we've been fishing a lot recently, is in the fields but just starting to drop. So I've come once again to this stretch of the River Arrow that belongs to Wixford Angling Club, and they invited me to come and have a fish here. So I'm back. This is about the most fishable river in the local area at the moment. Just to give you some idea, it was at 0.68 on the local gauge last time I fished it. Today it's at 0.8, so we're 4 or 5 inches higher. This is sort of that much higher. It's a lot browner, but you never know, a bit of colour might do it good. We did all right last time, so I'm hoping we'll do all right this time as well. Now, it's blown an absolute gale, so apologies if there's any wind noise. It's really hacking today, so there won't be any drone footage either, unfortunately. I think if I put my drone up, it'd just be straight across there. But we'll have a go. I'm going to have a wander down, bait a few spots up, bait a few spots that we fished last time, and sort of do the same stretch that we fished in the last video. There is another part of the stretch that goes upstream on the other bank. We'll perhaps save that maybe till next season, perhaps. And talking of the next season, I was actually bumped into a chap called Lee. Hi Lee, watches the videos. As I was leaving last time I was here, and we had a chat for about an hour. We're chatting all sorts of things fishing. And he fishes this stretch, and he says it's cracking in the summer, some lovely sight fishing to be done. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the summer. So yeah, we might come back and do that other bit of the stretch, perhaps in the next summer, or maybe even tomorrow, just depending on what the rivers look like. Anyway, it's probably enough waffle, isn't it? Right, let's crack on. Just bait a few spots, as I say, as we go up the stretch. I've got my usual mash bread. It's nice and stiffly mashed up, as you can see. Just going to bait a few spots. My nemesis spot here hooked a cracking chub down there last time we were here, and it came off. So we'll definitely have a go here in a bit. We'll have a wander down the stretch, try a few more spots. Some we did okay in last time. We had a couple of fish, as I say, some we didn't, and we'll have a wander back. I think what I might do is do perhaps half the stretch, or this bit of the stretch, and then we'll have a fish of it, and then we'll perhaps move a bit further down and do that, rather than baiting this up and then coming back in 3 hours time and fishing it. We'll bait a few swims, fish them, and then move down. Now, bait wise, I've got some bread for the hook, of course. Knowing this was going to be a bit coloured and up, I bought a bit of cheese paste as well, although I'm not sure I'll use it. And I've got some worms, which are always good when a river's just been up, because the worms all get washed into the river, and the fish are used to looking for them and used to finding them. So anyway, that really is enough waffle. Let's get down, bait up a few swims, and then we'll have a crack. And naturally, I'm sort of gravitating towards the swims where we caught last time. We caught a chub in there last time, and had a few more knocks as well. Actually, this river's quite a nice colour. There's about a foot of visibility, something like that. Looks nice. Oh, that's a bit short. That's better. We'll just put a little bit in, just let them know there's a bit of bait around. Perhaps find a couple of more spots, and we'll have a go. Well, the fish in this river don't have it very easy. I've walked 200 metres, 300 metres maybe, and I've put up 4 cormorants and a goosander. So I feel a bit sorry for the fish in here. Well, we've got a bit of fast water in there, as you can see, a bit of a back eddy down here. So we'll drop a bit of bait in there. There's a slack just at the end as well of this little pool. I think we'll bait that as well, and then we'll get back and try these 4 swims. Not sure how deep it is there. There's a nice bit of slack in this edge here. Nice with that bit of cover there as well, that tree. So that's 4 spots baited. Then we'll get back, fish these, and then move a bit further downstream. You know, the more I look at this river, the more I think it looks actually in a really nice condition. Looks a lovely colour. Some bites. Sort of colour where the fish will be out and about. So gear wise, I've got my Dower Power Mesh £1.25 test curve rod. It's a twin tip rod this. I've got the quiver tip top section in. So also we're going to get on the quiver tip today. I'm going to put, I think primarily we're going to catch chub today, so I'm hedge my bets a little bit. I'm going to go on a size 10 specialist wide gate. I've got my standard running ledger rig on here. I'll link you in up there if you want to go up there even. If you want to go and have a look how I tie this up. Right, I'm going to use these small Preston plug-it feeders to just get a little bit of mash bread down right next to where the hook bait is. And I'm hoping there's someone at home under that cover where we lost the fish last time. Gutted, it was a nice fish as well. Saw it a couple of times before he did me over. Right, so what we can do, we'll drop this in there. I fished from the top of the bank last time. I've come down a bit closer to the water this time. Fingers crossed. We'll get the usual sort of 10 or 15 minutes in each spot before we have a move. This has probably been baited now for 15 minutes. So we'll give it another 15 minutes. That's half an hour with some bait in a swim. That's long enough really to know whether we're going to catch or not. I don't think I could have come to a more exposed stretch today. But it's, as I say, it's about the only place that's fishable. I've got a ticket further down on this river, but that's still quite high there. Because it's below a confluence with another carrier. Alright, that was a pluck. Bit of interest in here. Not very easy to see with the rod bouncing around like crazy. Well, that was a pluck, and then we had a drop back, so I had to hit it. Well, there's someone at home. Clearly, good news. Someone at home, and we've had a bite as well. They're clearly up for a feed. So hard to read the bites in this wind. This tip is bouncing around like crazy. Well, that's a curious one. I feel like there's fish there. They seem to be being very, very cagey. I think I'm going to put a bit of bait in, and then we'll go off and come back. We'll chuck a little bit more mashed bread in. It's either decent fish being a bit cagey, like I say, or it's perhaps smaller fish, I'm not sure. We had a reasonable bite first go in, but then, like I say, it went all a bit cagey, so that tells me that perhaps it is a decent sized fish and they want the bait, but they're not sure. So we'll give them a bit of time to get the confidence up, and we'll come back. So next up, that bit of slack over there. We actually caught a fish in there last time we were here. It's a bit tricky to fish because you probably can't see it, but this branch that's fallen is half covering that bit of slack. So you've got to sort of get in behind it somehow. Right, let's have a go. What we can do. Getting it in there is not going to be too hard. Getting it back in one piece, it's going to be a bit more tricky. There we go. Hopefully that line will just run around. There we go. Just to feed that line around. Right. A bit of a bow out, so it takes the line round the back of that trailing branch. See if we can winkle a fish out of here. All right. Well, that was a bite. Funny rattly bite. I should have left it really. Problem is, I'm getting a bit overexcited because it's a quick update. I was out a couple of days ago on the Stour, which was as high as I ever fish it. But I went out because there was a load of rain due yesterday. This was the day before yesterday, and I didn't have a bite. Nothing. I knew it was going to be touch and go. I only really went because all this rain was due. We were due a big dump in yesterday, which we got. So yeah, it was a blank. Which is why I made a video. That's not gone in the right place, but we'll have a go down there. Further down the run, that is. And yeah, big fat blank, not one proper bite, a few little taps, but it's at that height where it never really does any good. I fished it once or twice with that on that same height and not caught anything, according to the records on my phone. Just like to keep a note of the river level, and you know, when it fishes well, when it doesn't, what sort of colour it is, just for future reference really. So make a note of this today. 0.8 on the gauge, brown, about a foot of visibility. That's all I put, and you know, good session or didn't catch, or you know, whatever. I recorded that one on the Stour, 1.7, and in my notes it said nice height, nice high height, blank, and I went out and had another go, and it was exactly the same. Same height, same result. I think it's just too coloured there with that height. Well, once again, a few choppy rattly bites over there, and then nothing. There's a nice crease down the middle of this pool. I think I'll drop a bait in there for 5 minutes after this cast. But yeah, it's basically a repeat of the first swim. Bite first cast, then nothing. Well, once again, we can always revisit if you fancy it. I'm going to drop, as I say, I'm going to drop a bait down the middle here. It's this nice run. There's a nice run in there. Just in the middle of this pool. It's just a nice pace. Just perhaps the fish might be sat out there because it's a bit coloured. They might be sat waiting for a bit of grub to turn up. So lengthen that distance between the hook and the feeder. Just try in there, just for 5 minutes worth to go, isn't it? Just see if there's anything sat just in that, just off the fast water really. It's quite boily in the edge here. There's a nice steady flow down the middle and a nice crease. Sort of place fish wouldn't really mind sitting, that nice flow there. Alright, that's a bite. Go on. There we go. Down the middle, look. Not tucked away over there at all. Sat in the middle of the river. Did look a nice crease. Hopefully it's a chub. He's a chub. Well, he's no monster. But it's a start. Fantastic. Guys had a lucky escape by the looks of those marks. But cracking fish. No monster, as I say, but very welcome. It's a bit marked up on that side as well. And yes, not tucked away in the cover at all. Down the middle of the swim. Right, that being that, we'll have another cast, I think. That was first cast down the middle. I did think perhaps they were out and about in this coloured water. There you go. Just learning all the time. Different river, different rules. And I can't imagine a fish like that is down there on his own. No, nothing else doing in there. We've had a couple more casts since we had this fish, but as I say, nothing else doing. So we'll get moved, I think. Loads of nice swims to have a go at. Certainly more than we can do in a few hours we've got available. So no point in sticking around in one swim. This fellow, get back. Go on, off you go. Gone. Right, onwards. Right, we've got this bit of a back eddy in here. The fast water over there. It'll be worth a few minutes, I think. Got various weights of these feeders, and obviously I use whichever is appropriate to the swim I'm in at the time. The first swim was quite slack. I was using just a 20 gram one, very light. The last swim I had 1.5 ounces, which is about 45 grams. I think we're going to put 1.5 ounces on in here as well. It's a bit sort of faster water. Cast down there. You just see if anything is knocking about. See if we get any interest in there. Looks a nice spot. Bit of fast water. Next to a bit of slack. It's the sort of place you'd think there'd be fish. God, it's a wild old day today. Blimey. Alright, that was some interest. Little tap. There we go. Well, 2 and 2, fab. We ain't got him in yet. Feels a bit strange, I hope it's not a trout. It's not, it's another chub. Fab. Of course it is, trying to get us in the trees. Come on. Got it. Cracking. Oh, fantastic. Well, there we are. How's about that? Cracking. Wonderful stuff. It's a nice fish. Right, same drill, I think. We'll keep him in the edge. Make sure he's righted himself. There we are. Yeah, strange jagging fight. I thought, oh no, is this a trout? But fortunately not. I know there's a few trout around in here. Right, both fish on bread so far. That's cracking. Blimey. Just on that crease again, just down there. As you'd expect, sat just off the fast water, off the turbulent water. Just waiting for the grub to turn up, I think. Again, it doesn't take long to get a bite if you're in the right place. First cast, fact, we've had bites in every swim so far, first cast. Right, we'll make this the last cast before we have a move. We had sort of 5-10 minutes now since we caught this fish. Nothing else doing off in these tiny rivers. Although I don't know this one very well at all, but generally, you know, you catch a fish, you disturb the swim. Time to move on. I'm not going to sit here for an hour and let it settle again. Too many swims to have a go at. Now let's have a move. We dropped a bit of bait in at the bottom of this pool here, so we'll have a quick drop in there to see if there's anything hanging around just downstream. We will get this fella back first. Go on, chap, back you go. God, brambles all over the net. There we go. Go on. Right. I say we'll have a go sort of 15 metres downstream before we have a wander off. So next up we've got a bit of a pool down the bottom of the stretch. Worth a go in here. We actually had a fish out of here last time, so it's definitely worth a go. Let's bring that around a bit. Stinging nettles are all starting to grow. God, they're fierce this time of year. Blimey. The little ones. Wow. Ouch. Right. Well, perhaps 20 minutes in here. And then I think we'll might try one more swim and then we'll work our way back up, I think. Right. So we've got the flow coming in the middle. I've got back eddy over there, back eddy on the inside. I think that flow is just nice and steady actually. I think we'll just drop straight into there. That's going to distribute our mash bread for us nicely. Just keep casting to that same spot over there. Try and pull the fish to the bait, to the feeder. It'll perhaps take a few minutes just to get the fish onto the feed. It's the sort of place you'd expect them to be sat. If they're after some food today, which they seem to be, the fish, then you'd think where this water enters this pool, they'd be sort of queuing up there to intercept anything coming down the river. Right, that's a bite. Proper clang. And again. There we go. Oh, what a treat. Well, that didn't take long. First cast. Feels like a relatively modest chub. It's pulling off string though. Come on. Trying to get in the edge, of course. Come on. Oh, he's not a bad one. Oh, that's a nice fish. Come on. In you come. Got him. That's wonderful. He's a nice fish, actually. He's no monster, but he's a nice fish, certainly. That's cracking. Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much. First cast. That's absolutely cracking. Right. Can we get his big brother? sort himself out. There he is. Right. We can have another one, shall we? That's the hat trick today. Very awkward sat under this tree. Blimey. As I say, just where you'd expect them to sit, waiting there for any goodies to be washed down the river. This is where it starts to settle. Quite a gentle bite though again. Surprised at that. Right, see if we can have another one. Well, nothing else doing there. We've had 10 or 15 minutes since we had this chub. We've had one sort of rattly bite. Didn't come to anything. That's been it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way back up the stretch now with the intention of fishing that first swim we fished. Because I reckon that's good for a bite, that is, I think. If we do see any other spots on the way back up that we fancy, we'll have a go. I think we'll get this fella back. Thank you very much, chap. Very keen to leave us. Off you go. Right. Let's go and have a wander back up the stretch. Right, we've had 15 minutes in there, but nothing doing, so I think I'm going to do one or two more swims on the way back to the car. Well, I think we'll make this the last swim. It's got a nice sort of back eddy over there. Get that rod tip up in the air. See if there's anyone at home. Not baited up here. I think just before we get off, we'll give it 10 minutes in here. A little bit of cover upstream of us. Not really particularly easy to fish. I think we'll try over there. That looks nice with that, just a bit of cover there as well. Sort of pace that food might collect. So it might have the fish in there. We'll wait to find out. We'll give it 5 or 10 minutes anyway. Beautiful. There's not much depth in that. Doesn't mean there won't be any fish in there. Alright, that's a tap. That's definitely a tap. It's a bit hard to tell with this wind, but that's definitely a rattle. We're in. God, it's took off. I think it's a chub. But it absolutely launched itself out of the water. Well. Oh, got a scrap in this flow. Blimey. Looked a decent fish when it came out of the water. Just trudging now. This is a chub. And it does look a nice one. Not very happy, is he? Got him. Oh, that's fantastic. I say, it wasn't, when I cast in, it's not very deep over there at all, but didn't seem to bother him, did it? Wonderful. Well, how's about him? Absolutely wonderful. That's lovely fish. Cracking stuff. Really pleased with that. That's wonderful. Got to give it another 5, haven't we? First cast, that was. So, as is often the case, if there's fish there, they usually let themselves be known fairly quickly. Just shows you that sometimes you don't need to bait up. It's a funny one. Sometimes it can get fish into the area, or get them feeding, get their confidence up, but other times you just really opportunistically drop onto a fish like we have here. And literally, it was first cast and he was full of mashed bread, so he clearly emptied the feeder and then had to add the hook bait as well. No, nothing else doing. I'm going to call it there. That has been a cracking session. Really enjoyed that. What we had, 4 chub out. As I say, it's only my second visit, so I certainly can't complain about that. That's absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, I love this stretch. It's really nice little intimate stretch. Well, as you've seen, do a bit of roving sort of stuff. I really enjoy doing small river stuff. I'm certainly looking forward to coming back in the summer when it's crystal clear and doing a bit of sight fishing. That would be wonderful. Right, before we go, I'll get this fella back. He's nicely recovered. Off you go, chap. Gone. Fab. Now, a big shout out once again to Mark and to Wixford Angling Club for inviting me to come and fish this stretch. I'm much appreciated, and it's absolutely fantastic stretch. I'm certainly going to be back next season. As I say, looking forward to doing a bit of sight fishing when it's nice and clear, and of course these sort of small rivers come into their own in the winter when everything dies back and a bit of water on, and you have wonderful sessions like this. There's a stretch upstream on the opposite bank, on the right bank, which I've yet to have a go at, and there's also a stretch a bit further downstream. But if you're in the sort of Ulster, Redditch, Evesham area, or if you just fancy a ticket on the River Arrow to do some small river fishing, if you're not as local as that, then I can highly recommend this Wixford ticket. Absolutely fantastic. What I'll do is I'll stick the contact information for Mark and for the club. I'll stick a card up there, and I'll stick it all in the description as well below, if you fancy coming and have a go here yourself. Now, tomorrow, last day of the season, I may try and come over here again and do the upstream stretch, because I'm not sure where else we're going to be able to fish. We may be able to get onto the Warwickshire Stour, perhaps tomorrow, but I might be able to get out twice, once in the morning, once in the evening, so we'll have to suck it and see. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support, and I'll see you again tomorrow.